Okay, guys, so I hope you can hear me. Um, I haven't uploaded in a while, so I felt like uploading a video. So that's what I'm doing. um, I'm not in my usual filming area, and I don't have my usual filming equipment, so I'm just filming this on my phone. So bear with me if it sucks. But what I wanted to do today, because I was just bored, and I was just like, whatever, is I recently got a Barnes & Noble gift card for my birthday, so I bought How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories, because I read this, I think probably from the library, must have been, and I really liked it, so I wanted a copy of it, and like, look at this artwork. I may have to flip the camera so that it shows the words correctly, because the way I see it, you can't read that, but it says How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories. Ta-da! So there's that. I know we're a minute in and I haven't started reading it, but we'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, I figured I'd read one or two stories from this, and that'd be one of my December videos. But anyways, we gotta look at the inside, and then that's the cover. We're gonna take this off for a moment. Don't get mad at me, book lovers. We're just gonna take it off for a minute so that I can read it easier too. Ta-da! I've actually never seen what it looks like without the slip. That's really pretty. And then inside cover. I'm going to have to keep showing you it because of this one has pictures. We got this. I can just fix my posture. There we go. It's Carden, probably. And then it says, for Brian and Drake, but mostly for Theo. Don't know who any of those people are. And then we got the map of Elfhame. And then here is... That's cool. Alright, now we can start reading. A prince of fairy, nourished on cat milk and contempt, born into a family overburdened with heirs, with a nasty little prophecy hanging over his head. Since the hour of Carden's birth, he has been alternately adored and despised. Perhaps it's no surprise that he turned out the way he did. The only surprise is that he managed to become the High King of Elfhame anyway. Some might think of him as a strong draught burning the back of one's throat, but invigorating all the same. You might beg to differ. So long as you're begging, he doesn't mind a bit. And more. I would just hold it this way, but that's not an easy way to read, so you're screwed. Sorry. I'll make a more quality video when I'm in my normal filming. So we got the first story, which is what I'm going to read. And it says, the King of Elfhame visits the mortal world. And then continues the prettiness. This, he demands, looking down at the waves far beneath them. This is how you traveled? What if the enchantment ended while Vivi wasn't with you? I suppose I would have plummeted out of the air, Jude tells him, with troubling equanimity. Her expression saying, horrible risks are entirely too normal to me. I couldn't decide on the tone of that sentence, sorry. Carden has to admit that the ragwort steeds are swift and that there is something thrilling about tangling his hand in a leafy mane and racing across the sky. It's not as though he doesn't enjoy a little danger, just that he doesn't gorge himself on it, unlike some people. He cuts his gaze toward his unpredictable mortal High Queen, whose wild brown hair is blowing around her face, whose amber eyes are alight when she looks at him. Ta-da! Please. There are two people who ought to They are two people who ought to have, by all rights, remained enemies forever. He can't believe his good fortune, can't trace the path that got him here. Now that I agreed to travel your way, he shouts over the wind, you ought to give me something I want. Like a promise you won't fight some monster just to impress one of the solitary fae who, as far as I can tell, you don't even like. Jude gives him a look. It is an expression that he never once saw her make when they attended the palace school together, yet from the first he saw it, he knew it to be her truest face. Conspiratorial, daring, bold. Even without the look, he ought to know her answer. Of course she wants to fight it, whatever it is. She feels as though she has something to prove at all times, feels as though she has to earn the crown on her head over and over again. Once she told Carden the story of confronting Maddock after she drugged him, before the poison began to work. While Carden was in the next room drinking wine and chatting, she was swinging a sword at her foster father, stalling for time. Spoiler alert, by the way, I forgot to add that. This page is more normal than the others, but still pretty. I am what you made me, she'd told him as they battled. Carden knows Maddock isn't the only one who made her the way she is. He had a hand in it as well. It's absurd sometimes, the thought that she loves him. He's grateful, of course, but it feels as though it's just another of the ridiculous, absurd, dangerous things she does. She wants to fight monsters, and she wants him for a lover. The same boy she fantasized about murdering. She likes nothing easy, or safe, or sure. Nothing good for her. I'm not trying to impress Buren, Jude says. He says I owe him a favor for giving me a job when no one else would. I guess that's true. I think his presumption is deserving of a reward, he tells her, voice dry. Not, alas, the one you intend to give him. She sighs. If there's a monster among the solitary folk, we ought to do something about it. There's no reason for him to feel a frisson of dread at this word, no cause for the unease he can't shake. We have knights sworn to our service, Carden says. You're cheating one of them out of an opportunity for glory. Jude gives him a snort, pushing back her thick, dark hair, trying to tuck it into her golden circlet and out of her eyes. All queens become greedy. He vows to continue this argument later. One of his primary duties as High King appears to be reminding her she isn't personally responsible for solving every tedious problem and carrying out every tedious execution in all of Elfhame. He wouldn't mind causing a little torment here or there of a non-murdery sort, but her view of their positions seems overburdened with chores. Let us meet with this Buren person and hear his tale. If you must fight this thing, there's no reason to go alone. You could take a battalion of knights, or, failing that, me. You think you're the equal of a battalion of knights? She asks with a smile. He might be, he supposes, although there's no telling how the mortal world will affect his magic. He did once raise an isle from the bottom of the sea. He wonders if he ought to remind her of that, wonders if she had been impressed. Can't believe that I could easily best all... I believe that I could easily best all of them combined in a suitable contest, perhaps one involving drink. She kicks her ragwort steed forward with a laugh. We meet Buren tomorrow at dusk, she calls back. Ta-da! Isn't it pretty? And her grin dares him to race, and after that we can decide who gets to play hero. Having only recently stopped playing the villain, Carden thinks again of the winding path of decisions that brought him to this unlikely place, here with her racing over the sky, planning to end trouble instead of making more of it. Ta-da! That's the first story. This is a short video, so I'm going to read the second one. I'm not sure how long it is. But here's the second one. Isn't it pretty? Sorry, I just love the artwork in this book. It's one of the main reasons I wanted to buy it. The Prince of Elfhame is rude. Ta-da! Many times in his first 9 years, Prince Cardan slept in the hay of the stables when his mother didn't want him in their suite of rooms. It was warm there, and he could pretend he was hiding, could pretend that someone was looking for him, could pretend that when he was not found, it was only because the spot he'd chosen was so extremely clever. One night he was wrapped in a threadbare cloak, listening to the shuffling, snuffling sounds of fairy steeds, of deer and elk, and even the croaks of great riding toads, when a troll woman stopped outside the pen. "Princeling," she said. Her skin was the rough bluish gray of river rocks, and she had a wart on her chin, from which 3 golden hairs grew. "You are the youngest of Eldred's spawn, are you not?" Ta-da. The witch hand is the most interesting part, or troll hand, I guess. She looks like a witch, though. Cardan blinked up from the hay. "Go away," he told her, as imperiously as he could. That made her laugh. "I ought to saddle you and ride you around the gardens to teach you some manners." He was scandalized. "You're not supposed to talk to me that way. My father is the High King." "Better run and tell him," she said, then raised her eyebrows and ran fingers over her long golden wart hairs, curling and uncurling them. "No?" Cardan said nothing. He pressed his cheek against the straw, felt the scratch of it against his skin. His tail twitched anxiously. He knew the High King had no interest in him. Perhaps a brother or sister might intercede on his behalf if they were nearby, and if it amused them to do so. But there was no telling whether it would. His mother wouldn't have slapped the troll woman and ordered her off,